Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Boxer Prime and Kyrix Zenith here on, or Zenix, here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. I believe this was taken from the G-Star All-Stars. This was part of the finals, so hopefully you guys have not seen these matches already. I had to pull some strings and talk with some Prime people in order to even get this replay, as I wasn't quite sure how to find these games. And I've heard a lot about Boxer and his Terran game against Zerg, so we'll see how this particular matchup goes. We now see a couple SCVs just mining down over here as Boxer has spawned as the red Terran player on the south side of the map. Meanwhile, we have Kyrix Zenith spawning on the north side of the map, or Zenix. I believe it's Clan Zenith and Clan Nex has combined. At least that's what someone told me. So that's why they're now called Clan Zenix. So quickly seeing the extractor trick being used in order to get over into 11/10 food, continuing to just produce more and more drones, and there is going to be a small economic advantage for Kyrix in this matchup so far. We do see a supply depot being built here and now being lowered. Interesting position on the supply depot, not opting for a wall-in. So we'll see how this particular matchup works. We may see a factory here, and then we may see a bunker here. That is a little bit more well protected in terms of a baneling bust, as those banelings are being forced to just run single file into here. However, they are able to explode and then detonate and get a lot of damage across. We also see a refinery being come in as well, coming in from Kyrix. Meanwhile, it looks as though we are going to get a hatchery from Kyrix. So Boxer opening up with the standard 13 refinery and now outmoves this drone. Hatchery now being placed down here. So it is going to be about a 14 hatchery followed with a spawning pool in just a moment. It looks like it was actually a 16 hatchery. So Kyrix am going to have a very, very strong economic league in just a moment, as he has a lot of drones. Now finally going down into 14 over here. 14 spawning pool now being placed down after that, or 15 spawning pool after that 14 hatchery, and now a drone will be able to make its way up. There is one marine here already being trained, so this one drone, unless it tries to grow up and be an extractor, will quickly get taken down. One of the things that has recently changed is that units cannot mineral path through enemy units, so I'm a little bit curious as to how that's going to work in starting mining. You saw that the drone was able to come in through this location, and if the drone comes in through here, does that mean that these SCVs are actually going to have their mining disrupted just by a scouting unit? That would be interesting to see. I'll have to test that in patch 1.2 on the public test realm. We do also see an SCV now coming back out, going back in, trying to see if there is an extractor being laid down. There is an extractor now being laid down, so he does know that the metabolic boost will be coming in about, I would say, 90 game seconds to start the research, plus an additional 110, so about another 3 game minutes before that is completed. We do see a factory now being placed down, as there are some more Marines getting trained up. Once again, a lot of Zerglians also being trained as well, as this SCV now returns home. One of the things that, if you guys have not been keeping track of the public test realm and the forums, Blizzard has decided to allow fungal growth to hit air units once again. So yeah, that has been changed, and as soon as that patch is released in the public test realm, that will probably be more along the lines of what people are expecting, as an SCV will be able to mineral path through his own friendly units there. We do see a couple of Zerglings trying to run in. However, they are going to be met with a group of 5 Marines, and those poor Zerglings will not be able to deal that much damage, as those Marines are now sitting here. However, there are not going to be any Marauders being placed up anytime soon, and now we see a command center being placed down. So this is going to be a 1-1-1 build into a starport. In the 1-1-1 build, and the factory wanted to build a tech lab. However, it does not look like that will be the case. The starport may have to build the tech lab the old-fashioned way and probably start massing up some banshees. I'm not sure if those Zerglings were able to gain sight. Now taking a look at the Kyrix's site, he does not see that there's a starport already in play, and now there's going to be a tech lab being placed down. They're only running off of 1 refinery so far, so he will not be able to get that cloaking research just quite yet. We now see that Banshee currently being trained. That Banshee now being trained up, and then the cloaking research most likely will follow in just a moment. However, we now see Boxer currently supply locked, spoke too soon, as another supply depot was been placed down. The timing on Boxer's build very, very tight. I'm very, very impressed by this build so far, as he now gets 2 additional barracks. So he's now starting to macro up into a very strong army. There is a Roach Warren already in play. This Roach Warren has been down for quite some time, and we should be getting some roaches in just a moment. However, with only Marines so far, we now see a group of Marines now trying to quickly take down that Overlord there. Zergling able to get a lot of scouting information now, as that Zergling just wandering around on the inside. However, a group of Marines may be able to cut it off. as those Marines do have a range of 5, now trying to make sure that that Zergling is unable to escape. At least it was taken down there. One Banshee was trained, however, doing a quick swap there in order to now get some siege tanks, I believe. The tech lab, the factory is now down. I do not see an armory in play, so most likely, yeah, siege tanks now being trained up. No siege tech just quite yet. We may get some metafacts out of there, and now this may just become marine siege tank as it transitions into the mid game. So wow, a very, very fast-paced game in terms of builds. Taking a look at Kyrix currently having one evolution chamber, so that evolution chamber in order to get some spore colonies, but with only one Banshee in the air, the Banshee will not be able to go toe-to-toe against a queen, or helicopter blade to toe against a queen there. So now deciding to pull back. There is that Banshee now trying to return home. There is one Zergling sitting out here as these units now continue to move out. This one bunker will prevent any Zerglings that try to run by very, very easily, being forced to run in through this gap in a single file line. Zerglings now trying to come into this position. However, they are going to get shot down. The siege tank does have a very fast attack and a range of 7. That's one of the things that I was watching a lot of the other professional players play, and using siege tanks without siege tech is actually fairly useful. That siege tank has a very fast attack speed of 1.04, and on top of that deals additional damage versus armored, so they're decent against roaches as long as you're not fighting on creep. And with that very fast attack rate, they're able to deal a lot of damage very quickly. Support it with a couple Marines, and those siege tanks are able to deal just a lot of damage as long as you're not trying to fight on creep against a Zerg player. However, the Zerg player doing a great job now expanding over here onto this low ground here. So it is going to be 3 bases compared to 2. Taking a look at the income, 46 harvesters for Kyrix. Boxer only sitting at 38 at this time. As roaches now make their way out, we do see that there is a movement upgrade for both the banelings and the roaches currently being researched, in addition to a spire. I do not see an armory being placed down just quite yet, so it will be quite some time before we get any Thors. Thors, the obvious counter to those Mutalisks. You can also try to go for, siege tank now having been finished there and able to get one quick blast there. Now trying to fight back another blast there, and those roaches not being microed for just 1 second, quickly getting cleaned up there. 225 minerals, 75 gas lost. However, no real harm done, as Kyrix is now running off of 54 harvesters, mining off of 24 mineral patches, and now going to be macroing up and taking up perhaps a 4th base. The Zerg player seems to be able to macro up very, very easily, and this is going to be very dangerous for Boxer. If Boxer does not do something in the next couple of minutes, he will find himself very, very much behind, as the Zerg player will be able to run off of 4 hatcheries and place and just be able to get a lot of units. And off of that 4 hatcheries able to easily produce 28 larvae every game minute, even higher, I believe, if you average it over time, about 40 larvae every game minute. We do see one queen down here, and now Mutalisks finally joining the air army-wise, 1350 versus 2500. However, you can take a look at the income tab, 1600 versus 1440, as these units are now on the move. Siege tanks still moving out, and I think Boxer is just playing way too defensively. He does not know what's really going on so far in the map. There are Mutalisks now in the air, and now with air superiority, it will be very difficult. Marines need to get back here in a hurry, now trying to take down some of these key tech buildings, perhaps getting some Marines in transition. There we go, a lot of Marines have been taken down, now trying to move away. Marines trying to get underneath, however, will not be able to deal that much damage towards those Mutalisks, as those Mutalisks do have a faster movement speed. And now in comes some roaches and banelings in the center. Siege tanks over here on the low ground, able to clean up some of that and thwart that attack back. But Kyrix doing a great job just expanding across the map. If he's able to continue up with these mass harvesters and such a strong economy, I do not see how the Terran player will be able to get back into this. We do have the level 1 weapons upgrade and the combat shield now completing for those Marines. We also have banelings though. 10 banelings, roaches, a very nice unit combination coming in for Kyrix. And now Mutalisks once again in the air, picking off one scouting Marine there, and now those Mutalisks may be able to come back in and deal more damage. There are Marines down over here. I like the positioning on these supply depots, making it very easy for these supply depots to raise and lower and try to stop any Zergling rush. There are a fair amount of roaches, and as creep is being spread out across the map, it will be even more difficult Also, remember, the Zerglings have the level 1 armor upgrades, so those siege tanks will not be able to single shot any of those units. And now this is going to be a very critical window for Boxer to move out. If Boxer is able to move out with this army here, he will be able to deal a lot of damage while Kyrix does not have enough of an economy going for. He does have now a 5th hatchery being laid down. However, the army size is just maybe too much for Boxer, as Boxer now scanner sweeping and cleaning up some of those creep tumors. Banelings now on a roll, sieging up those siege tanks, not in position there, and now trying to move out. Mass roaches and mutalisks continue to move out, dealing a lot of damage back and forth. More banelings coming in once again. Those marines and marauders trying to come back, but unable to deal any real damage back and forth. You can see both sides taking a lot of damage as Zerglings now trying to come in from the backside. However, with so many medevacs, that may be simply too much. Production-wise, we are not going to get 34 Zerglings. A lot of Zerglings just moving around the map. We'll be able to get a lot of surrounding here, and I believe this attack will be thwarted. The sheer production off of 4 hatcheries may be too much, as the queens now come out and join in on this fight. However, one siege tank continue to blast away, and without any Zerglings to support it, that really needs to get more. Spawn larva still needs additional time there. More Zerglings coming over here. Banelings being morphed in here. This one hatchery looks like it will get taken down. Down it goes, but that is only one base of a couple, as some Zerglings now trying to run up the ramp here, and we'll be able to get some damage onto that siege tank. Siege tank quickly getting taken down. There are a couple down marines down over here. The marines, they do have the level 1 weapons upgrade, as fighting on both sides, now trying to retreat, as those Zerglings may be able to get a lot of damage back and forth. However, the bunker has been cleared out, and now being able to force that attack back. Another group of marines now making their way up. There's one siege tank getting picked off by a roach. And now banelings and roaches may be able to try to move out. Those marines and marauders do not want to try to engage. And we also have roaches on creep. Roaches on creep move faster than marauders, even with stim packs. So that's always very careful. The marauders need to be able to fire those concussive shells and hit back. Banelings over here, army-wise, 2,300 versus 1,650. Harvester count, we now see Boxer as a little bit ahead, but Roaches now simply coming in. Banelings splashing, dealing so much damage across the board. More Marines trying to come in. SCVs coming off the mineral line, trying to turn around on this fight, doing some long-distance mining, however, just sacrificing it to this fight so far. There is one siege tank over here, but that quickly will get taken down by those Roaches. Roaches able to move much more quickly than those SCVs, and we'll be able to just kite many of those units. Once again, more SCVs getting taken down, and now Medevacs trying to heal up this army, and you can see the economic advantage of the Zerg player. 2,000 minerals a minute versus 800. Things are not going to be looking good for the Terran player Boxer. Boxer is in serious trouble. Only limited to 1 base mining at this time, compared to Kyrix's 3 base mining at this stage in the game, even though this place is not fully saturated just quite yet. Roaches and Banelings once again on the move. Medevacs in the air trying to heal. Marines desperately running away from those Banelings. Sorry, Marines running away from those Banelings. Roaches continuing to just being able to pick off more and more units, and those Marines constantly using those stim packs trying to hang on to that fight, but one Baneling bust hitting there. So many Marines getting taken down, and Kyrix off of pure macro doing a great job in this fight. Mass Roaches now continuing to move out over here. Down goes another Marine as the 4 Roaches able to take that down. SCV is trying to take down this one Roach, but that Roach has 3 natural armor, so those SCVs are only able to deal 2 damage per attack. More Banelings splashing damage over here, and I believe that is going to be game. There's not much I believe that Boxer can do at this stage, especially as Kyrix is continuing to macro up, getting a very strong economy, and Boxer just simply sat in his base for far too long, let the Zerg player expand out far too quickly, and this is just a massacre. The Boxer just simply getting schooled, and I was hoping to see some of that famous Marine play, and now Boxer just getting torn apart. Here is the actions per minute. I know some of you guys like to see the actions per minute at the end of the game. The Zerg player averaging 274 actions per minute. Crazy macro, also spamming as well compared to Boxer's 208. Taking a look at the units lost tab, 13,850 versus Kyrix's 1325. You may think that's fairly even, but you got to remember the income difference was simply phenomenal between these two players. The main bases have been mined out from both sides, essentially. Only 3 mineral patches left here. However, these gold mineral patches were mined some. These were mined some as well. But this back mineral patch was really what gave Kyrix the lead. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this game between Boxer and Kyrix here on Xel'Naga Caverns. This actually says Korean GSL as part of the part of the players, but I don't believe this is an actual GSL game, unless I got a GSL replay, which would be very cool. Anyways, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 matchup between Boxer and Kyrix here in the Xel'Naga Caverns.